Three, two, one. We should be live. Everyone should be getting the alerts as well as seeing that we're live right now. So hopefully everybody's feeling good today. So excited to be in the house tonight. We're going to talk about the best way to capitalize off the market in 2025. So hopefully everybody is able to see and hear clearly tonight. Everyone should be good. I'm going to set myself up here and make sure that all the audio and visual is working fine. So another day, another opportunity. I wasn't was I was just live not too long ago, so it was good to go ahead and get live. I'm glad that everybody could make it safely here in the house. So if you guys are ready for tonight, we will. I do see some people with some questions. We will have a Zoom that does follow this right after, right? So we will have a Zoom that follows this right after at 9 p.m. tonight. So 9 p.m. tonight, we will have a Zoom that goes ahead and follows right after. So if you were on the last session, a little bit of a different tone, I will say. Definitely was a little bit of a different tone that I did have. Um, it's just for me, I put a lot of work into everything that I do consistently, and so it does take time. It does take time. It's tedious. This is something we're very serious about, and put a lot of hard work and effort into this thing on a consistent basis. So um, yeah, we'll leave that there. Nonetheless, here for we are actually here for business. So we are here for business, and let's get to it. Drop some fires in the chat, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started. It's the fourth session of the day, and I think this one I thought maybe the last one I was most excited for, right? But I think this one I'm most excited for with you guys tonight. Last session was a bit spicy, I will say that. Last session we took the gloves off for a second, and I'm just gonna let everyone know that I am live on YouTube. I'm also gonna pop up an IG live just so everyone is in is aware. So one of the things that I think that gets us caught off guard is recency bias. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is recency bias. And the reason why I want to talk about that is I think this is one thing that gets everyone, right? You may see something take place in the market and you think it's going to continue to be like that, right? And that's not the case. You know, you don't always see the same things happen, simultaneously. So what I want to stress is we may have had a great quarter two, but do not allow what happened in quarter two to dictate and allow you to think that quarter three is just going to be just as easy. It only gets harder from here, right? So I want you to look at quarter two as like a handout. If you've been making money, you made money in quarter two, you're feeling good. That was a handout that was given to you. You didn't really have to earn it like that. Now comes the time where it's some tough critical decisions to be made. The stock market is back to an all-time high. I want to rewind for a second, right? When we came into the year, December, November, December last year, the market was firing on all cylinders. All cylinders. Came in February, March, boom, boom, boom. Everybody got knocked up a little bit, right? Got knocked down on the canvas. Some people were down for the count, they thought, right? And so now you really turn this thing around. So now a lot of people positive for the year, right? There's a lot of different investments. We're not going to talk too much about those right now because that's the past. What I want to talk about tonight is the future, right? So the future. So I think a lot of times people once again, you get caught up in a moment and you don't focus enough on the future. What I'm looking towards is the future. And the future starts with the best way to capitalize off the second half of 2025. The number one thing that I want people, and I'm going to place it in the chat, and shout out to all of our returning watchers here on YouTube. We're going to continue to build this thing out. The number one thing that you can do is the word I just put into the chat, and that is discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. In the second half, if there is not a trade, do not take a trade. Right. I was just about to post something right now. About to go ahead and pull it up. But if you take a look at your Robinhood account after hours, go ahead and take a look over at Tesla. Once again, just one of the very ones that we continue to talk about. Last week, what did I do? Show improve. Let's go ahead and start this show improve session because that's all we like to do. From here on out, every single week, live trading sessions. We're going to be doing live trading sessions live here in Atlanta in person, right? Live here in Atlanta in person. So if you are here in Atlanta and you want to get busy with me, make sure you lock in and send me a DM because we will have live trading sessions every single week in person. I think a lot of times, once again, people get caught up in once again the short term noise, and you know that's one of the, like I said, one of the things that happens. So we're going to focus on making sure that people get as much value as they can possible. So, particularly here with Tesla, we're going to go ahead and speak about 336 level and the importance of Tesla. All right, so go ahead and share my screen, and we'll be good to go. We just hit 100 people that's here, so excited for everyone to join us tonight. If this is your first time listening, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This is the number one place to be. So we'll keep you guys abreast to dates and times. So logistically, just working. Expect it to be usually in between Tuesdays to Thursdays each week, preferably Tuesday. So I'll keep everybody, um, up to date with the live trading sessions and the timelines as well. All right. So first thing, this was on 7/18 at 3:53. Like I said before, I've been speaking about Tesla since last week on the watch list. Right, over 336 will be a nice pre-earnings move. We have Tesla right now, which Tesla went ahead and actually just made a move so far. We have Tesla in the overnight session right now, up about $6. So this is what doing your chart work looks like, right? This is exactly what doing your chart work looks like. Let's taking a look at Meta Platforms, where I left the office, right? So where did I get this 336 level? This is a previous level from a previous time. So price just hits this 336. If we can break over that, 346, a nice earnings run. I'm telling everyone here now, not saying this happens this week, but if it does, Tesla 360 is the level that you want to pay attention and watch. 360, right? So 360 is the level that you want to pay attention and watch, right? So in the second half of the year, it's been a lot of good stuff, but what's getting ready to happen, right? We have also as well, we're getting ready to head into months like August. So I want to go back in time real quick. I want to come to the QQQ. I want to go back to last year during that month. I want to go back to last year, a month of August, late July. So look at what happened here, mid July last year up until August, right? We saw a significant sell off that came on the back half, leading us into the middle to back half of earnings season, right? So we also saw a sell off here as well, late August into September. And then right around September 9th, ended up being a bottom, and then the market continued to make higher highs and higher lows. So I think we gotta be a little bit caution, right? Going into August and September. August typically is usually a flat month. September, a lot of times, is tends to be a negative month. So I'm a little bit caution in the wind, especially when we look and we've really just been unstoppable. So once I feel like earnings start to unwind, right? I still think we have more movement left. Like I would like to see Nvidia take a move higher to maybe 180. Like for Microsoft to keep running. I'm still waiting on Apple. We still waiting on Apple in that 215. So to me, I want to talk about the seasonality piece of this thing, right? And the biggest thing that I would stress is when we do come to looking, at this particular name, QQQ, the SPY, you must watch the 630 level here on the SPY S&P 500 now. And then in addition to that 630 level, we must go ahead and pay attention to what? Right? We have to go ahead and look for a couple of different areas and levels here right now. So to me, the first level that we have to watch is this 580 level on the QQQ. So 580 on the Qs, I think is going to be very, 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 very important. So why is 580 going to be a very, very, very important level? Just want to clean that camera off just to make sure everybody can see me clear. So when we are speaking about this 580 level, how do we get there? What are the stocks? So this, you can take this blueprint tonight. I'm giving you the blueprint, right? For the next couple of months in the market. Here's how I think, here's how I see things playing out. For my mentees, you guys know you guys will go ahead and get a PDF with this blueprint. But here's how I see this market trading. I see us going on a SPY to like 640. I see the QQQ going to about 580, led by who? Led by none other than names like Nvidia, right? Nvidia still to me has more gas left in the tank. I think we got a move to 180 to 185. So you're hearing me say that now. So before anybody else comes out and says, yo, they said this and said that, listen, I'm saying it here right now. 180, 185 is where Nvidia is going to go, right? So momentum is a strong thing, right? So we're on YouTube for all my people that's just tapping in here. We are on YouTube. So make sure if you're not in the community, we have a call following this YouTube live right at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When that clock strokes 9 p.m., I'm cutting this thing off and we're heading to Zoom for my mentees only. We're getting busy there, right? So if you want access into this, make sure you guys send me the DM. Now, NVIDIA 180, 185. Why am I saying particularly that when I look at NVIDIA, when I look at the QQQ, what makes me say this, right? That's going to be one question that gets asked. What makes me say that I believe the NASDAQ has this much gas left in the tank? Also with Microsoft. Microsoft is also in all three indices, of course, as well, too, right? Microsoft is the number two ticker within the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So Microsoft is also top two in the Nasdaq and as well the S&P 500. So Nasdaq, you take a look at Microsoft; they're in the top two of all three indices. So Microsoft is a super important name to how actually we can run it. Microsoft MSFT has been running as of lately. We're here at 510, which is why, in addition to as well, Nvidia has been able to push higher. This is the main reason why we've seen the level of success in the market as of recently. So these you got these two names, and funny enough, Apple has not contributed, but we still see the market making new highs. So funny enough, if Apple is able to find a way to contribute, we will continue to see those new highs. So it's very incumbent upon Apple to start to deliver and push upward. Now, next, I want to discuss, right? We've had the growth space of the market that's been able to continue to move. The names that we've always talked about, Coinbase, we talked about the ARK ETF. Listen here tonight, right? In this back half, it is going to be very, 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 very important. Listen to what I say next to you, because I know that some of these names are very sexy, very attractive, and you've seen a lot of these names run. But once again, I said this a little bit earlier. If I was the person to get you into the position, I have to be able as well to be able to help you guide you to see where you should be looking to get out, right? So all of these are positions except really for Tesla. So let's give you a prediction, right? When it comes to TSLA, let's say Tesla gets going for like a month or two. Let's say Tesla runs into September, which could happen. Tesla could catch steam. Tesla typically during the summertime usually does catch a bit of a steam, right? And so let's say Tesla steam rolls here to the upside. This ARC ETF, very well, you see it at 78, you could see it at 89. It's not far-fetched to think that the ARC ETF is going to take a move to $84, $89. I stamped this ETF when no one was talking about it. You had people saying Kathy Woods was going to go out of business. You had people saying that Kathy Woods didn't know what she was doing, all of that good stuff. Once again, we talk about market phases all the time. So by no surprise, are any of the names that are within the ARC ETF, we are not surprised by none of those names running. And I'm here to tell you, in the second half of 2025, I want everyone to put this in the chat because I'm going to put this in the chat right now. I want you to raise cash on ARKK names. So some people might be saying, Lawrence, what do you mean? These names have been running, these names have been hot. Yeah. And I'm hearing these names, and I'm going to finish my case study with CNBC. I'm hearing too many of these names on CNBC. So let's just put it out there. Coinbase is back to an all-time high. The last time I checked, when Coinbase was down, who was talking about it? Let's not pull up those. Roblox. Oh man, we got receipts for days on Roblox, Palantir. We're gonna keep going. So I want you to understand, raise cash on this thing. Once again, when I hear my name, the name of my tickers being in CNBC's mouth too much, it makes me a bit nervous. So what I'm saying is we still got some more upside. Now, this ARK ETF, you'll see its holdings right here. ETF.com. Everyone, ETF.com and Yahoo Finance should be your two best friends. ETF.com is going to teach you where each name, what the holding allocation is. So if I'm a new person, I'm like, man, L, I don't even know where art, what is even in art. I don't know. If you are a new person and you don't know, we have the answers. ETF.com is going to break it down to you, show you the holdings in a percentile. Last time I checked, these names are making 52-week highs, right? Outside of CRISPR Therapeutics, CRSP, right? Actually, excuse me, take that back. CRISPR Therapeutics did make 50. They're not at an all-time high, but no, CRISPR Therapeutics made a 52-week high. Yeah, CRISPR Therapeutics was up 18% on Friday. I missed that one. Missed that one. Missed that one. Should I had I thought I had an alert on that for 60, didn't go off. So Circle Internet Group came in storming fast. Archer Aviation, that was a new one that was added to the docket. But listen here closely, right? Robinhood, how many times they done made a 52-week high? Roblox. We talked about Roblox 40, $50. What did we say Roblox would be? We said Roblox would be a 2025 breakout play. Coinbase. Coinbase made it back to the $400 range. So what do you think that, right, you should be doing? Coinbase makes it back to I just want you to think about this from this perspective. Coinbase makes it back finally to its opening day price. What you think's about to happen? Because I can complete the sentence if you guys want me to. Right. What's about to happen is you are about to see Coinbase as well. There will be a profit take on some of these names. These names just not going to just keep running. And September come around, and then you are going to now once again see prices go ahead, right? And you are going to be able to see now these prices end up getting removed, right? And start to get pulled back now, right? So what I'm saying is please be raising cash, right? Please be raising cash. Robinhood, I know it's cute and it's beautiful. Robinhood's done amazing things. But I think we'd be foolish to think that if you're in option plays that you shouldn't be selling and taking some profit. Do consider that very heavy. Shopify, we understand how quick Shopify can turn around. Roku, which I think Roku is going to go over $100 here soon. But I don't trust Roku after that. I think they'll pull back, right? I think they have a strong possibility of getting over that point. So here in the rest of the third and the fourth quarter, you need to be taking some profits off the table, ladies and gentlemen. I get a lot of DMs right now of what's the best opportunities, what's the next opportunities, all of that good stuff, right? And what I've been saying to you guys, um, once again, super, super, super duper important is I need you guys to understand this. When it comes to, once again, when it comes to taking profits at the top of the market, a lot of times people avoid, but then we have to have those tough conversations when the market pulls back. None of us can time it to, perfection, right? None of us can time it to perfection. But I need you guys to know I have your best interests at heart, right? I'm the one that gets the phone calls, gets the text messages, gets the emails, right? I get all of these text messages, I get all these emails and all the conversations, right? On, man, these I'm just gonna tell you what I heard, right? Verbatim from people's mouths, and they'll tell you. Some people may be honest in the chat, right? And that's up to them. Yo, L, I wish I would have taken profit when the market was at its peak, but I didn't do so. Right? That's what I heard. I wish I would have taken profit. Wish I would have taken profit. So we're back at the all-time high point. What good was it to buy low but not sell high? So that's one of the most important things that I want you to pay attention to in the second half and the ways to capitalize off this market. Right? So now let me go to the Fed site because I want to speak about here the ways to capitalize off the Fed. This is a continued conversation that happens every single week. If you're new here, continue to like, subscribe. Make sure you guys are sharing this thing. We're first 20 minutes in. We got about 26 minutes left. When the clock strokes right around 8:59, I'm gonna cut the YouTube live off. And for all my mentees, we're gonna go private session. Private session. They'll tell you this is my fourth session of the day. So like I'm about showing and proving. I'm really done with the talking too much, right? It's about what you're gonna put up or shut up. You're gonna show up with money in your brokerage account, be ready to execute, or you can stay out. That's as simple as I'm gonna break it down to you now. All these things that we talk about are things you could take your money and execute upon. If someone you getting on lives or YouTube, wherever you getting on, and ain't nobody talking about executing on something, leave. Simple as that. We do this whether it's on a Zoom, whether it's in person, whatever, wherever. Doesn't matter what city. We'll pull up. We'll get busy. So July 29th and July 30th, September 16th and 17th. Let's talk about the ways to capitalize off the Fed in the second half. So here's the main question. Here's the two ways that it's gonna go. Right? Either Jerome Powell is gonna get his stuff together. He's gonna cut this rate to what DT believes should be happening. Otherwise, he's gonna get gone. Rate cuts to me are gonna happen. Now, what that causes, aftermath, I would say maybe this July meeting, no rate cut happens. I think not only would that tick off DT, but that also may infuriate the market a little bit. I think September 16th and 17th is where you get the rate cut. So September 16th and 17th is the where you get the rate cut. So the ways to capitalize and put yourself in position, one is to start to raise the cash now, right? I want to definitely I really want to stress this, right? One of the ways to really benefit, and I want to stress this, going into August into September, right? And I think really it'll probably be more so late August, early September. You also have contract rollover, which happens in September as well. But I think there will be increased volatility. If you pay attention to the market right now, there is not that much volatility, but it is knock knock is getting ready to come. The volatility is on the way. One of the things that I was talking about last week, guys, was what? Volume, right? And volatility. What are the things needed from a trader perspective, right? That you actually need? You need volume and volatility. So if you don't have volume, there's not going to be any movement. If you don't have volatility, right? Because you need volume to create volatility. So in the second half of 2025, I want you to pay attention to the Federal Reserve significantly, right? So the Federal Reserve is now in this position where they're a bit trapped, right? Because the Fed has to make a major decision here. Are we going to cut rates or not? That is the major decision that the Fed has to make. Now, so in September, let's say we draw down and we drop, but then we get a rate cut. I want to go to the tickers that will directly benefit from a rate cut, right? I want you to drop, I want you to put these tickers on your list. So when rate cuts happen, I want no questions, no ifs, ands, buts about it. What ticker should we look at? What blah, blah, blah. What company should we look at? When rate cuts happen, let's go to the tickers and the lead up to the rate cut. If you notice what ticker has started to cook, pay attention here. This is how I know for the people that's been with me a while. So you got a ticker named Upstart, UPST, which Upstart, I put people in this ticker numerous of times, right? Now, when it comes to Upstart, I also put people in here back in April. Did I not? Did I not say not only Upstart, but also Affirm at $35 was the buy? Did I not say that for both those tickers? Got on every single day and was saying, yo, you better be getting Upstart and Affirm for my people with smaller accounts that's looking for quality moves. Get Upstart and Affirm. Both tickers are up essentially 100% from those low points. Upstart and Affirm, both tickers. Why? Because both of these tickers are interest rate sensitive businesses, right? And so I say, yo, good value is when you can get these names at those prices. Look at what happened here. But now let's speak to what's next. Let's say, we may get a pullback a little bit. That pullback may come in a little bit of a profit take. Maybe you get Upstart to pull back to 64. Maybe you get Affirm to pull back to 52. It's possible, right? And so, what I want you guys to do is set those levels to actually look to go ahead and buy those equities. Now, I'm not going to give you everything because I gave my private people a ticker a little bit earlier, right? And I'm not giving that here on YouTube because that's for premium people only, right? So, no one put the ticker that I discussed that I talked about accumulating earlier on the watch list. Do not put that because I'm not giving that out publicly, right? That's private. Some things got to stay private. And when it comes to this, I will give you these two, Upstart and Affirm, right? So $52 should be your buy, and around for Affirm, and then for Upstart, right around 60 to 64 to be your buy range. So on the verge of a pullback that happens, right? I will give you these two. Now, these have already performed. What I'm talking about, once again, a pullback that may come in that may set you up to buy two assets that if rates get cut, these two assets directly benefit from rates being lower and their interest rate sensitive businesses. So once again, what's the buy price that you want to try to get a firm at? $52. Upstart around 60, $64. That's the buy level to which you want to pick up those names. All right. So I want you to put those on your list, watch those tickers, and pay close, very, 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 very close attention. Now, the thing is, when the market gets, once again, when the market gets hot, and I want to talk about some of the geopolitical things. In the second half of 2025, I'm pulling up a ticker here. And like I said, I always have. Actually, I want to pull this up on this side. Let me pull it up. The QQQ on this side. I want to pull it up here because it's already charted. So as you know, I'm always watching things. I might not always talk about something, but best believe I got my eyes peeled on it. One ticker I want to give you guys is ticker Alibaba, right? So BABA. I've been looking at Alibaba these past few weeks. Past 2 to 3 weeks, they've been on my radar. Earnings for Alibaba just will be around the second week of August. Alibaba here. I think of some of these, and I want to just use this. So I'm glad that this is here perfectly, right? So notice what happened last time. Notice when I drew this diagonal trend line here from right here, October 7th. Notice how I dragged this diagonal trend line, and you see how I don't know why it went that far, right? And so when you see here, right here on February 3rd, broke up to the upside, right? Look at that break. So now what I want to do is I want to take this downward channel, right? And you look at Alibaba. What's about to happen here? Mentioning it right on time, right? So I'm giving you guys, once again, I'm giving you guys a completely free play. It's up for you to take the notes. If you're serious, you're going to be taking these notes on this. So look at Alibaba, right? Alibaba came right down here to this downside. All we did was draw a top line diagonal trend line. For those that have been in my diagonal trend line classes before, you've seen this type setup. What I did was I drew it from 148 and I pull the diagonal trend line all the way here, right? Draw it down. So notice where it's at as of last week. So as we break back above also a key resistance level of 121, right? Your targets will be 129.37, 133.88, 138.70. Now, I'm going to give you the whole script of how this thing is going to move. One morning, you're going to wake up and Alibaba is going to probably be up $5 to $8 and it's going to fill this gap overnight. So I'm telling you now, it won't be a intraday move. So that means while the market is open, Alibaba will not go more than likely to that 129. Alibaba will gap up during the Asian Chinese session, right? The Chinese session, and will get there after hours. My suggestion would be for you to get January, everyone say with it, January 2026 call options on Baba. Now, call options on ticker what? Baba. What strike? 100 to 120. What's your target? Your target is going to be what? 129 and also 133.88. Very simple. Nothing hard about that. Well, we got a macro level breakout. Why? Because we on a weekly time frame. So that's all the free plays that I'm giving here on this live. I am not giving anything else outside of what I'm giving you, right? On this YouTube live right now. Everything else will be kept in house. So I gave you guys this particular move. So you guys have this on ticker Alibaba. So I gave that. This was a gem of mine. Like I said, I'm always watching things. So Alibaba, look for that ticker to break out relatively January 2026. We know Alibaba sometimes can trade sideways. Alibaba, you got to know your tickers. This is why you got to know. Alibaba is not an intraday mover. So what do I mean by saying it's not an intraday mover? Alibaba majority of the times moves after hours. Why? Because this is Alibaba is a ADR, an American Depository Receipt. So at the end of the day, it mainly is a foreign traded company, right? Not to say that we don't trade it, we do, right? United States, we trade it, but this is once again super, super, super duper important. Now, I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things here. This is, I want to go to one name and I want to talk about them real quick because they have significantly dropped here to the downside and they are about to go ahead and report earnings. So, this name is to add to your watch list if it's not on your watch list already. Some people probably already have it. But I want to speak to this name because we're starting to get to the bottom. And this is a name, I'll give you my thoughts on XYZ here in a second. I think that XYZ should be shorted tomorrow, depending on what happens. If XYZ, and I'll say it very quickly, we'll pull up the chart here in a second. If Square does not break um, over $80, I would short the dog out of it. So what I'm telling you is don't be fooled by Square finessing themselves. They finesse their way into the S&P 500. That stock has not been performing well to get into the S&P 500. How it did it, I have no idea. Now I want to talk about ENPH, right? ENPH, which is Enphase Energy. So I want to illustrate something here. I'm not recommending that this ticker is per se a buy today, but I just want to foreshadow. We did enter the distribution phase, particularly on a lot of energy. A lot of the energy stocks, like the clean energy, not I won't say like oil and gas, but a lot of the clean energy stocks really have been in a distribution phase, right? And so Enphase Energy, I want to point this out to you guys. Enphase Energy is a buy at $18 to $20. They have earnings 2 days from now. I think it's likely, not to say that it gets there 2 days from now, but I think at some point we will see Enphase Energy trade that cheap, maybe 25, etc. I want you to put on your notes that this is a mud play. Keyword mud. Mud. That means that this name is trash. but you budget to play in the mud. Mud, Enphase, ENPH, right? Accumulate, right? Accumulate. And that's that. Enphase Energy. If you pull up Enphase Energy, let's take a look at its fundamentals. Because Enphase Energy was extremely expensive a few years ago from a price perspective. But now you look at it, it has a 36 P to E. So this business is profitable, has an EPS of $1.09. So let's take a look at some key statistics. This is why I like specifically this name. This is not actually a bad business. It does have some cleaning up to do, but this is a name that's been getting trashed on. One of the main reasons they don't have a ton of debt, they are decent in their cash. They also have a small amount of shares outstanding. So you got 131 million shares outstanding. So this is a name, once again, from those that have been in my classes, what's this formula? You got it. We call this a low floater, right? This is a low floater. So Enphase Energy, I'm telling you now, this is a name. We're not expecting it to shift its position. This a 5-year hold. So as you start to accumulate, I would say we'll just say 18 to 25 is our sweet spot. 5-year hold, right? 5-year hold. Enphase Energy, 5-year hold. We're telling you this right now. 18 to $25 is the perfect price to get this name. This is a name that you want to add. A lot of people is like, yo, how do I find these tickers that's $20, $30 that have potential to maybe being $100 one day? We're going to talk about share statistics tonight, right? So stressing it, stressing it, stressing it, stressing it, guys. Please do. Enphase Energy. And that's it ticker wise. So we're done with tickers. I appreciate that. So going to go ahead and wrap that up. All right. Let's take a look. Couple things. Let me go to earnings calendar. Perfect. Refresh this. So we talked about Tesla today. Got earnings calendar. Here we go. Let's take a look at our calendar. So let's look here. There we go. Just some names that will be reporting this week that I do think is couple things to pay attention to. I want to actually no, I meant to go to Wednesday. Apologies on that. Wednesday is going to be our busiest day. So we also have Google. We have Now, ServiceNow, QS. QS was one of our mud plays. The people will tell you QS played out perfectly. Hit almost two of our targets. We have T-Mobile, TMUS. Got a trade on them a few weeks back. Did pretty well. So a busy week. Like I said, there's about like 80 companies, I believe, that's reporting here on this day. 80 companies, yeah, 80 companies after close. Thursday as well is another good day. You'll hear from Intel, right? Intel will go ahead and report after hours. A lot of good names that'll go ahead and report here on Thursday as well. Following week will be the better week and a bigger week, but there's a ton of names within the S&P 500 that will go ahead and report this week. So brighter news, UPS is laying more people off. Well, excuse me, that's not brighter news. Take that back. That's bad news, right? Brighter news maybe for the stock. So UPS is continuing to do layoffs. So look at UPS maybe potentially for a run this week. You might see UPS break out, depending on it, how excited investors do get. So it's 8:52 here. Um, so these are our earnings, particularly Spotlight here. I'll come in. We talked about the Fed and the Federal Reserve and the importance in the 2020 and the closing out second half of 2025. So once again, the best ways to capitalize off of the market in the second half. Number one, making sure you're taking some profit now because in the second half we do expect to actually see some discounts. Anybody that's telling you there's a plethora of discounts right now is lying to you. How could the market have a plethora of discounts, right? And and I definitely, like I said, how could the market have a plethora of discounts, right? and we're at a high. Like, just make that make sense. The market doesn't have a plethora, but we believe in this second half of the year, the best ways to capitalize and to not lose money is to make sure that you are protecting yourself and your capital. Because you got to have some cash on the side to be able to buy. Also, during the months of August and September, we will have more live trading sessions. The reason why, because there is a strong belief in my mind that we may see a pullback. And so we want to capitalize off of those pullbacks. So we're going to be looking to trade the SPY and the QQQ. If we have opportunities and setups to the downside, we're going to look to trade certain names down. So make sure you have some dry powder on the side to be able to catch if the market does pull back to catch a movement downward. So the name of the game in the second half of the year, go ahead and take some profits here on some of your winners, go on cash, protect yourself. Don't make the same mistake that you made in 2024, just thinking that the market runs forever without taking a breather. So, plethora of opportunities. I see we have 40 plus people here. For my people that's here on the live, make sure you head over to the YouTube to kind of catch this whole replay. For all of my mentees, we're going to get this Zoom call started within the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this YouTube, man. Like I said, they'll tell you this is the fourth session today. So that means the fifth session is about to go ahead and commence. And then after that, GTS, which means go to sleep. That's what I'm going to do. Because if you want to be prepared, got to go to sleep. You got to get this workout in. I'll be having a nice workout in the morning. So Tuesday through Thursday will be our live trading sessions. Like I said, man, they woke up the beast. They woke up the beast. Woke up the beast. Like I said, woke up the beast. I could do this all day, every day. I could run circles around anybody when it comes to this game because I've been in it a long time. I've seen a lot of these things play out. And so the information that I gave you here tonight, you make sure you take notes on it. All right. I didn't give you for anybody that's here that's not in the community. I couldn't give you everything. That just would not be fair to the people that paid their hard-earned money to come in and get this game. So at the end of the day, there's enough freebies here to where you should be eating off the freebies a little bit enough. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get this Zoom started, my great people. We'll take 5 to 10. We'll probably kick off the Zoom around 9:05. We're gonna get right busy. We're gonna get right back to getting busy. So all gas, no brakes, rest of this year. You want to get to where you want to get to, you got to do what other people don't want to do. And that's real work. Put in the work, put in the time. Everything's earned, nothing's given. So the mentality has to be you got to get better, you got to stay sharp. And that's our mentality. So the more that we take time to actually immerse ourselves in the information, the language barrier becomes less and less. I had someone reach out today and say, hey, finally, a lot of the things you're saying make a ton of sense. They've been in for a few months, right? So the more, once again, time, patience. This is not a fast money thing. This takes time, discipline, and patience. So I'll see everybody on at 9:05. So 9:05, mentees, lock in. I'll see you guys. Everyone else, once again, the same offer as always has been available. You know, I was speaking a little bit earlier about listen, if you're here getting all this information and I see that you go to somebody else's comments and I see you talking and you giving somebody else flowers saying they taught you this, they taught you that, but you telling me in my DM you ain't learned nothing from that individual and you learned from me and I taught you XYZ. Once again, I'm not saying anybody got to say I did anything. The piece of what I'm saying is I think it's a slap in my face if you go to somebody else and you know somebody else's platform and you saying they taught you all of this, but then you come in here and you saying they ain't teach you. If you paid somebody else that has nothing to do with me, it doesn't. Oh well, I paid such and such and it didn't work out. Well, if you pay such and such and it didn't work out, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just being frank. That has nothing to do with me. Everybody comes to me, yo, L, can I get a discount? I pay such and such 10, 15, 20,000. Well, you can come rock out with me for nowhere near that cost and get just as much value, if not more. Right. So the thing about it is there's a cost to education, there's a cost to everything. If someone say, yo, go to work, we want you to go to work for free and we not gonna give you your paycheck, you would look at them crazy, right? So at the end of the day, there's a cost to anything in life. There's a cost. And the value here, I just got on this live, I just gave people things that will print money. I don't think people understand it. I don't know if everybody understands what I just gave you. I just gave you a gold mine. I gave you something that I've been doing independent research on, timing, and I just laid it out on a silver platter. There it is. So it's 8:59. Great people, stick to what I said. We're gonna cut this thing. And man, my mentees, we're gonna get busy. We'll take a 5 minute break. We'll get busy at 9:05 with more exclusive things. More exclusive things. There's a lot of mud plays, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of mud plays. I don't always speak about them, but there's a lot of positions that I see that can go from 30 to 100 real quick, especially if this tide changes. So this is what I'll say. So I appreciate y'all. And mentees, I'll see you guys in a few. I'm going to wrap this thing. Appreciate y'all.